Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Life in General podcast. My name is Nick.
My name is Ian, and you keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Yes. We are going to talk a little Chris Rock.
Because why not? Everyone else has.
Yeah. And as a bald man, I feel like I can speak on this topic, I think.
Yes, but you're not bald because of alopecia.
I mean, it's...
And you're a man.
Yeah. Well, so we'll get to all that. But what else has been going on lately, Ian?
Anything
else?
Let's see.
The world hasn't fallen apart yet, has it?
How could you tell either way? What's normal relative to what's not normal anymore?
And there's nothing normal anymore,
No.
I feel like.
Right. The non-normal is the normal. But no, not much else.
We almost have a new Supreme Court justice. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We'll have the first.
A qualified one at that. But you wouldn't know it from the way she's being grilled on the stand.
I will say that asking, there were some very stupid questions asked. I think the worst one was the whole define a woman kind of thing. And first off, I need to say, as someone that used to live in Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn is a fucking moron.
Oh yeah, she's in the upper echelon of the crazies,
and she always has been, even when she was a House member.
Right.
When I lived in Tennessee, but and I think that that she had a great answer for that question though, because she's right. And if you weren't watching, but basically what she said was, it really depends, because the job of a Supreme Court justice is to take the arguments, look at the law, and then make a decision.
Right.
So it really depends on what law you're challenging
and what the context of the question
what the context of the case
the case is. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a lot of posts on Facebook, where they were making fun of her, is the sky blue? And it's a meme. So they say, is the sky blue? And the meme answer from her is, I don't know. I have to, whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff like that. I'm thinking, yes, a stupid question like, is the sky blue, is not going to come up in the Supreme Court.
No.
So your joke is, I get your joke, but it's still bad.
It's dumb. But
ultimately, any question they're asking her, aside from things that may have already been decided by the court, she can't give a judgment on these legal questions.
Yeah, well, she's not going to,
and
that's
right,
something.
But they were expecting her to.
Yeah, and that's something that really started with the when Robert Bork was I think it was Robert Bork was the one that in the late '80s or early '90s.
No, it was the '80s. It was Reagan. If it's the guy I'm thinking
of,
it was he makes. Rush Limbaugh seem liberal.
Yeah. I think it was
a Reagan. Yeah,
well, you're right.
It was mid '80s.
Yeah, it was a Reagan nominee, but that's kind of when it really kind of started the whole. I'm not going to answer questions that may come before the court, which I get.
Right.
I get that. And it's something that Supreme Court justices do need to have some kind of, at least appear to be impartial.
Right.
So I kind of get not answering, whether you're for or against abortion, which is a really stupid question, because I do need to say that, even people that are pro-choice aren't pro-abortion.
Right.
It just, we want to, because I consider myself, I'm pro-choice, and I want to reduce the abortion rate also, but I think a more effective way to do it is through education and
contraception.
Well, education and ending poverty.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it right there.
So,
but education, because kids aren't taught. See, that's the thing. The people who are pro-life don't seem to want any sex education for their children.
Well,
would go a long way to preventing.
Well, they
unwanted pregnancy.
They don't want genders taught in school.
No, I'm talking about the people who are like, you can't talk about sex in school.
I know, but right now the big thing is
gender. But I'm talking even back when we were in high school. There were parents who were all up in arms just talking about anything other than abstinence.
Yeah.
Which you can't do. So maybe I should rephrase that. It's not about not teaching sex ed. You can't teach abstinence only sex ed, and that's what they want, because that doesn't work to preventing unwanted pregnancies. In fact, it probably increases it. Yeah. So they don't want to do anything about that, and they don't want to do anything about the child after it's born. It's just that that 40-week period in the middle that they give a shit. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem right there.
Yeah.
You know, none of us want people aborting babies.
No.
You know, but the fact is it's twofold. I'm a man. It's not my body. I'm not going to tell someone what they have to do that's going to affect the rest of their life.
Yeah.
It's not my place. Second, unless these people are willing to go to the lengths of taking care of these children once they're born, they don't have a fucking say either.
Yeah. You know, but what I was kind of saying though is like studies have shown that as poverty rates drop and education rates rise, abortion rates drop drastically.
Absolutely.
It is a more effective way to combat abortion than just outlawing it, because outlawing it doesn't work, because we've had that before.
Right.
And it like I said, never mind.
We can't talk about it anymore than it's already been talked about.
Yeah,
but.
and I didn't want to go on a big abortion topic. I did want to get to a more lighthearted topic of men slapping men on public television, but
I'm going to slap you.
So I guess that's kind of the big thing that's been on the news lately is, at the Academy Awards last weekend, Chris Rock, while he was presenting, got up on stage to present the Oscar for best.
He was hosting, wasn't he?
But he was on stage to present the Oscar for best documentary.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I've been to comedy shows before. A lot of other people have been to comedy shows. I've been watching award shows my entire freaking life. But with both of those instances, when comedians are on stage, there's something called crowd work. Mm-hmm. Where comedians, like if you go to a comedy show, you never sit up in the first couple of rows because you're going to get fucking
picked.
You're going to get picked and they're going to make fun of you.
Right.
That's what they do. When you go to award shows, it's the same damn thing.
It's even worse because I think the audience kind of expects there to be some ribbing towards the celebrities.
Yes.
Kind of bring them down to our level and that kind of thing.
So Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Smith, whose head is shaved because she has alopecia. She was sitting in the crowd next to Will Smith, and Chris Rock...
At a different table, ironically, though.
They were sitting... I think it was just the way the chairs were spaced out.
Looked like they were at a different table.
But Chris Rock made a joke about Jada being in the next G.I. Jane movie, which... It's a really poor joke.
Yeah, it's not even that funny.
It's not that funny. You're referencing a movie from, 30 fucking years ago.
Right. But you're referencing a movie that's about a strong woman breaking women's boundaries.
Well,
as far as insulting jokes go, it's not really that bad.
The joke wasn't necessarily about the role, though.
Right.
It was about her haircut.
Right.
Which, look, the whole thing is, my whole thing from the very beginning is, yes, it was a poorly made joke, but does Chris Rock even know she has alopecia?
I didn't know anything about it.
I pay attention to this kind of stuff. I pay attention to, because of our YouTube channel and some of the stuff like that. I see a lot of the entertainment kind of stuff,
right.
Especially a lot of stuff that's gone on with Jada and Will Smith over the last couple of years with their open relationships and the entanglement.
Well, I would say open. I wouldn't say that the relationship was mutually open. But,
I believe the entanglement, as she called it, was while her and Will Smith were on a break. So I don't think
we were on a break.
I know. It's old Friends reference there, but
it's not old. Friends will never be old.
Yeah, Friends is old there, man. I'm telling you. But I forgot what I was going with all that. Yeah, so he makes the joke, as dumb as it is. Mm-hmm. And then, at first, Will Smith is laughing.
He's laughing at that joke specifically.
Now, I will say that, during the video,
Jada didn't take it.
I don't.
I mean, she rolled her eyes at it.
There was several jokes that Chris Rock told there.
Right.
So I don't know if Will Smith was necessarily laughing.
He was still laughing.
He was still laughing. So I don't know if he was laughing at the joke previous to that or before that, or if he was actually laughing at the haircut joke.
Right.
So that's kind of up in the air. And then I'm sure everyone has seen the damn video. Will Smith storms up on stage, smacks the shit out of Chris Rock, and I think Chris Rock really played it off pretty well.
Yeah, I think he handled it as well as he could.
I will say, when I first saw it, because I was working on Sunday night, so I kind of saw other people started talking about it, and then I didn't see it until the video was on Instagram. And like when I first saw the video, I was like, man, it's staged. That had to have been staged. And then once the unedited video came out where like you could tell Chris Rock was shaken after that. He was
not only that, Will's response after that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have kept going if it was staged. It would have just, they would have just left it and let the audience play it out themselves.
Yeah. I will say that if we had done this podcast on Sunday night, this probably be a very different show because I was pissed. Like I was pissed at Will Smith for even fucking doing that.
I mean, I still kind of am because it has nothing to do with me, so it makes no difference how I feel about it. But I think I don't like all of Will Smith's movies, and I don't like a lot of things, everything he's ever said or done. But I've always respected him as a performer and as an entrepreneur. I've had respect for him, and I've lost some of that. I've lost a lot of that, actually.
But what I was mainly upset about was the fact that his action really overshadowed
the whole
thing. Many great things that happened during that award show. And the different awards that people got, and I believe it was also the first Academy Awards that had an all minority crew. It was all minority run. So there's a lot of important things that happened during that unfortunately will get kind of lost to history
because of
that the outburst. And if I would have been fine, like if his reaction would have been fine had he not walked up on stage and smacked Chris Rock.
Right.
If he would have just sat there in his chair and screamed, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth."
Right.
That would have been the end of it. I think it would have been. I mean, obviously people would still be talking about it, but it wouldn't have been as big as an event as it was.
And honestly, I think it would have accomplished the goal that I think he set out to do, which was to defend his wife.
Yeah.
It would have accomplished that by still maintaining the respect that I think people had for him.
But the what really kind of set me off though was the fact that, especially on like social media, all these people that were like just jumping over themselves
to defend
Will Smith and defend that's what we need is a macho man to.
A macho man wouldn't have slapped him.
Well, here's my thing:
a macho man would have punched him.
It's 2022, man. Right. Women could fucking defend themselves.
Absolutely.
You don't. I don't know. It's just
it feeds to I understand that there is a need for men. Men serve a purpose in society.
He has a right to respond. Right. It's just not like that.
But men do serve a purpose in society. But we've come to realize that there's masculinity and then there's toxic masculinity. And that, I think, is an example of toxic masculinity, except for the fact that he slapped him. Yeah. That's not very masculine.
He slapped the shit out of him.
Right. But, if you're a man, I'm sorry, if it had been me, I wouldn't have done that in the first place. But if I'm in a situation where I would have to be physical, I would not open hand slap another man. I would punch him.
I think that's what the intent was, is that it's more insulting to be smacked like
it is. That. I can see that, but to me it's also more insulting to the person who's doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you want him to be a man, be a fucking man and close your fist.
I will say, like, the other thought that, like, immediately went through my head when I first saw the video and started kind of processing a little bit was, in the society we are in now, to have a black man do that to another black man, where you already have this stereotype that's gone on for, the last
black on black violence.
No, for the last several hundred years about, black men are unable to control their anger.
Right.
There's, abuse issues. And, Will Smith did this. So now, he looks like an abuser now. You see,
for me, I didn't see that.
It feeds into this racist narrative that has, bubbled up in this country over the last 20 years.
Well, that's not only that's not only the only racist narrative that's coming up out of this. There was, I forgot who it was, posted on Twitter saying, if that had been a white person, he would have been arrested.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah, I know.
A white actor, a white millionaire actor had done that, the situation would have been completely different. Are you fucking kidding me?
It would have been completely the same.
Exactly.
The same thing would have happened.
Exactly the same.
I will say, like, right away though, I was like, man, why was Will Smith? Well, how was Will Smith not taken out of that?
Police
theater?
did show up.
So he was asked to leave. He refused,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was mainly because he was still up for Best Actor. I think is why they didn't push the issue,
Right? Because they knew he won.
I will say that his acceptance speech was probably one of the most bizarre fucking speeches I have seen someone give.
Right. Yeah, it was. The acceptance speech was almost as bad as a slap. If you ask me.
Yeah. And then he's like, and I will say that I saw King Richard. It was a fantastic fucking movie.
I haven't seen it, but it's not.
He
my kind of movie.
100% fucking deserved to win that Oscar. But to stand up there and make references to him attacking Chris Rock, to the character here, the real person he portrayed in the movie,
defending his family.
Yeah, and like right afterwards, the
Richard Williams
said,
and
the whole family was like, they distanced themselves from all that, and
as I think they should have.
They should have, absolutely. Yeah. I just don't know where Will Smith kind of goes from here, though. It's going to be interesting to see.
I don't know because
there's two very different sides to this. There is there's multiple sides to it. You've got like the public side of it, so how the public responds to him. He has, the coworker aspect of how do other actors respond to him,
right?
And an even bigger issue, how does Hollywood respond to him?
Right.
Because when you've got someone that when Mel Gibson went off on his big tirade, he was blackballed for a very long time in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
I just started seeing him kind of pop up.
He is. It's just like in the last 1 or 2 years, he's starting to come back out.
So yeah, the public might forgive.
Hollywood doesn't forgive as much because
they might not. It might be a while
because it's all investment to them. I mean, it's not right, but they don't see him as a person. They don't see any of them as people.
Yeah,
they're commodities.
Yeah,
and when those commodities go a little bad, they're very quick to just cut their losses.
The big telling thing is going to be how the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air remake,
right?
Or
he's not in it though.
He's an executive.
He's a producer.
He's part of the Bel-Air process or the production. So it's going to be interesting to see because I know season 1 just wrapped up. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see moving forward. If it gets picked up for, I don't know if it already has been picked up for a second season.
If he was the star of the show, yeah, I would definitely question everything like going forward. I'd say, okay, this might not come back. But if it was successful, considering his role is behind the scenes,
and it's hugely successful.
Yeah, as long as considering his role is behind the scenes, I don't think it'll affect Bel-Air. It might affect his position on Bel-Air. But I don't think it'll affect the show. Yeah. I really don't. Like I said, unless he was the face of the show, like he's on the show.
He's not.
Yeah, then it won't make any difference. I don't think
he's not.
But it will make a difference.
But
in movie roles going forward.
He is the character in the show, though.
How so?
Because the character in the show, his name is Will Smith. It is.
Well, wasn't it on Bel-Air?
It was. It was.
I mean, it's just a reboot. I mean, it's.
I know that. But what I'm saying though is, it's going to be interesting to see if this has some kind of negative effect on
the
that
name. Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. I don't think it will, though. I really don't. Like I said, if he was the face, if he was the star of the show, then definitely for sure. I don't see it affecting it. But going forward, it is very difficult to say how many movie roles he's going to get going forward. Even if it's a perfect role for him, people are going to think twice about it.
Yeah. How do you feel about the possibility of him losing his Oscar?
That because I'm totally on the side that he was wrong. I think Chris Rock did nothing wrong, did not deserve the slap. And I think Chris Rock handled it perfectly. I do not think Will Smith handled any of it perfectly at all. I don't think he should have lost his Oscar.
Yeah.
I don't think he should lose his Oscar. And this is why. He was determined to be the winner before the slap. He earned it before the slap.
He did.
The slap and all that situation had nothing to do with the Oscar itself.
Yeah.
I think that part of it is earned and it's done. Going forward, I mean, we found out today at the time of this recording that he's resigned himself from the Academy. Mm-hmm. He's no longer on the board. So, going forward, sure. But no, that award was his before the slap.
Yeah, and I felt the same way. I feel the same way now. I felt the same way right after it happened because that was all the big talk like right afterwards is what's going to happen because in 2017 they passed the whole code of conduct thing after the whole Harvey Weinstein. And I will say that a lot of people were like, well, how can you take Will Smith's Oscar when Harvey Weinstein didn't have his taken? But, it's a completely different thing to win an Oscar for acting. And then Harvey Weinstein just has awards for movies, producer and things like that. So I think it's a different situation overall. Plus, the code of conduct thing wasn't in place prior to all the Harvey Weinstein bullshit. And even like with Mel Gibson, people are like, well, if you're going to take Will Smith's Oscar, you need to take everything from Mel Gibson.
Again, it would be
the
before,
same thing. It's like you're going back even further to take shit away from him.
Yeah,
so I don't agree with taking his Oscar.
Yeah, I don't
either. But it's something we're going to see if it happens or not, because at this point, it's still kind of up in the air. I would be fine with him just resigning from the Academy.
Which he's done.
And with them, because one of the big honors when you win for Best Actor is the Academy Awards the next year, you present.
Yeah, I don't think he should be invited next year.
So I
think he's got to take a year off.
I would be fine with them saying, look, you're banned from attending the Oscars.
For a year.
I'd be fine with it being permanent.
Yeah.
If that's the penalty.
If he had killed Chris Rock, yeah, but he didn't. He slapped him. I think
it's not.
People can change and grow.
I'm not saying like he can't win awards in the future. Just he can't present.
Oh yeah, no presenting, and I think he should not be allowed to come next year.
Yeah.
After that, sure. Take a year off. You're suspended for a year.
Yeah.
That's fine, because there has to be consequences. There always have to be consequences, but those consequences should never be. Well, they should be, of course, balanced with the wrongdoing.
Yeah.
But it's not something that's, like I said, he didn't kill anybody.
But
it shouldn't be a lifelong.
But
thing.
I will say that this sets a really fucking bad precedent, because we've talked for as long as we've been doing this podcast about the fact that comedians aren't able to tell jokes. Like, there's some comedians that won't go to certain places because they're not allowed to tell jokes the way that they want to tell them. So this sets a really bad precedent for, I forgot who the comedian was, but they made a comment on social media the last couple of days that, well, now I've got to wonder if someone's going to come up out of the crowd. Who's going to be the next Will Smith? Right.
And when does it end? Where is it just a slap, or where does it move to something else?
Yeah. So, yeah, you can say, oh, he didn't kill anyone, but
it could happen down the road.
It could set a precedent that.
Right. True. But as far as, you have to think about those things, but you can't hold one person responsible for the actions of something that hasn't even happened yet.
No.
You need to, assign an appropriate amount of punishment for the case itself.
Yeah,
you're right though. I think it could potentially cause some problems going forward.
Because I've been to comedy shows before where the comedians have told some jokes that were not that were kind of a little
and
further than they might.
And I've seen them go pretty medieval on some hecklers before.
I will say real quick, I want to play this clip. I sent this to Mandy earlier because Mandy thought this was a little too far too. Let me see if I can pull it up. Give me 1 second.
I don't know if there's such a thing as too far. If you're paying to go see a comedian,
this might be a little too far. I might have to turn it up. I might have to replay it a second time.
Okay.
Because I'll have to turn it up. But
people would come here and make jokes about the sacrifice.
Is that Jimmy Carr?
Heroic father made on.
So this is
that's Jimmy Carr.
But this is it's the roast of
Pete Davidson.
Yeah, it's the roast. So do you know this clip?
I've seen all of Jimmy Carr's clips.
So you know what he says then?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll play it.
Go ahead and play it.
Because I thought it was funny, but
it is funny, and go ahead, just play it. I know Jimmy Carr's work pretty well, so.
I'm appalled that people would come here and make jokes about the sacrifice Pete's heroic father made on 9/11. This is not the roast of Pete Davidson's father. That was in 2001.
Which you can hear like the groans
Right.
from
So,
the crowd.
You have to understand that Jimmy Carr is his shtick is kind of that old school insult comic.
Yeah.
That's what he does. His
But that's what I'm saying though, is like what stops someone from going up on the stage and hitting him?
Well, he invites people at his audiences to heckle him because that's part of his show. He's like, he wants to be heckled so he can make fun of people.
yeah.
So
well, it's easier. It's easy crowd work.
Exactly. So, and he's pretty good at it. But yeah, you're right.
So if you don't know the context of that, Pete Davidson's father died in 9/11.
He was a firefighter.
He was a firefighter and died in 9/11. If you didn't catch that from the clip.
Wasn't that King of Staten Island? Is that movie about kind of like
it's
semi-autobiographical?
loosely based on his life, yeah.
So,
Which I heard it was a terrible movie, but I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it either. I don't get the Pete Davidson thing. I mean, he's funny on SNL, but
Yeah, sometimes.
but I don't really get the Pete Davidson thing. So whatever. But yeah, Jimmy Carr is definitely one who would probably want to worry a little bit now.
Yeah,
because that's his shtick. That's his. But that's
what I'm saying though is like moving forward, can comedians tell jokes like that?
Right.
What and prior to this event,
that question has been coming up.
That question has been coming up anyway.
Right. But before it was like, man, am I going to lose my career over this joke?
Because
now they have to worry about losing their life or getting hurt or something.
Yeah. Because before it was I think it was Jerry Seinfeld said that he would. It was probably like a decade.
He stopped
ago.
doing college groups because he was getting sick of them telling him what he could and couldn't say.
Yeah.
Because of safe spaces and shit like that.
Yeah.
Which I completely understand. I mean, especially since why would you even care what Jerry Seinfeld's saying if you're paying to go see him? If you're paying to go see him, you know what he's going to say, or at least have a rough idea of what his style is.
Yeah. Which I will say that a lot of the comedians I've seen,
but we've gone to the amateur stuff. You know, we don't know what we're going to see when you go to the comedy club in Ann Arbor or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who's playing that night. It could be open mic night, whatever. Yeah. That's different. But if you're paying for Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah,
you know what you're getting into.
You know what his shtick is.
If you're paying to see Jimmy Carr, you know what his shtick is.
Yeah.
You know if you go in there, there's a possibility, especially if you're up close, you're going to get made fun of in a very harsh way.
Yeah.
So, it's what's that guy's name? I can't even pronounce his last name, but he's got a couple specials on Netflix. He's even worse than Jimmy Carr.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's dry. It's deadpan. He's American.
See,
so.
I'm really kind of funny when it comes to comedy. Like a lot of comedians, if I'm sitting in the crowd, I'll laugh along with it. But a lot of the shit I don't find funny. Like, the more like crazy shit like that, I'll actually laugh at that. I find a lot of that.
Jimmy Carr specials are on Netflix as well.
I'll have to watch it because a lot of the stuff I see comedians do, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
even a lot of like Bill Burr, which is he's supposedly one of the greatest comedians out there.
I've watched a couple of his specials. He's funny too.
He's funny, but I'm not like rolling on the floor.
Very rarely. I
guess like I said, I'm just funny I'm just weird when it comes to comedy.
And you know what's funny is it's when most comedians are funnier when they're younger. Like when they become popular, they're not quite as funny anymore.
I don't know.
Chris Rock is pretty good.
Dave
Chappelle's been pretty consistent.
Dave Chappelle's another one of those comedians that really pushes the envelope.
Exactly. Well, he's had a lot of shit. Had a lot of problems with things he said.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with a lot of the things he said.
Yeah.
But he's still fucking funny.
Yeah, he is.
If you're going to see a comedian, you're going to hear things that you may not agree with.
Yeah.
Period. And that's the point. That's the point of comedy. Comedy comes from there's a certain level of uncomfortableness to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not fucking funny.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm just not uncomfortable by any means. You really can't say anything to get me like. Well, that's the one thing I said for a long time is like I don't think I'm really capable of being offended. Like you can say whatever the fuck you want to say to me. I'm not going to get offended by it.
I can't say that I wouldn't feel a little offended, but I'm not going to tell you.
There might be times.
It doesn't bother me what you say.
There might be times where I'm like, whoa, I don't know if I would have said that, but it's like, I'm not like, I'll like get offended by things. So, I don't know.
I just remember that guy's first name. His last name it's spelled Jesselnik. Jeleznik.
Okay.
But he's pretty rough.
Is he?
Yeah, he says some pretty uncomfortable. It's hilarious though.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. It cracks you up because it's like Sometimes you can see it coming, especially if you've watched other clips of his.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I see where that's going, but you still laugh. There's times if you don't see it coming and he says it, you're like, whoa.
I will say that, like, also right after the whole thing happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock, I was seeing people that kept saying, well, this was all done for publicity.
Right.
Which doesn't make any sense. Yes, Chris Rock is going to sell more tickets now.
Right.
Because he just announced a second night for his Detroit show.
Which, to be fair, if he had been a bitch about it, like he had filed charges and wanted Will Smith escorted out, if he had made a big deal about it, I don't think he would have benefited from it. I think he's benefiting from it because of the way he handled it.
Yeah,
because he handled it well.
But what doesn't make any sense is, like, if you're Will Smith, why would you, like, damage your career to help out Chris Rock?
Right,
like,
exactly. You're right, exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's the thing. People who are still saying it's staged.
Because, like, regardless of what happens,
it's not staged that they're talking about taking away his Oscar.
Yes, yeah, I know. It's like, well, okay, I will say that they could have had, like, a side thing that wasn't part of the.
Right.
The Oscars might not have known anything about it, but if it were staged, I believe that at one point they would have been like, "Hey, Oscars, we did this on purpose."
Right.
Like,
right. Yes.
Regardless of what happens to Will Smith moving forward, if the Oscars don't take his award away or don't do anything,
and they shouldn't.
And like, his career moving forward
is going to be tarnished.
Is damaged.
Yes.
Because it will be damaged in the eyes of the public.
Right.
So yeah, no one is going to do that to help out somebody else.
No, definitely not. Even Will Smith, who, to be fair, is, as I said, he's an entertainer and he's an entrepreneur. He's very wealthy. He doesn't need to work anymore.
Yeah.
But he's an entertainer, so he does need to work. That's his thing. Going forward, I could see him probably not even doing any movies for a long time.
For a while.
He might do a rap, music. He might do some music.
Nah,
it's a little safer.
He hasn't done that in a long time, though.
No, but it's something I could see him doing. I wish
I think
I'll forget about it, but I would put money on within the next 2 years he's got at least one album out.
I think he's going to go back into movies pretty quickly.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay. Well, like I said, if I could remember that we place a bet, I would pay tab. I'd put money.
I don't bet, so that's not what that was.
You bet on sports all the fucking time.
All right, well, I don't take fool's bets. How about that?
Well, that's not a fool's bet. I wouldn't, because I wouldn't. You know me, I'm poor. I wouldn't bet anything more than I could lose anyway.
No, fool's bet like a bad bet is what I mean.
Okay. Well, I
really
don't see that.
You are a fool, but I wasn't calling you a fool.
Oh. Well, I wasn't even challenging that. I didn't even say no. I'm not a fool. I was just like, okay. But see, that's not really a fool's bet because it's really just two options. I guess there's three, but technically there's only two options. He's either going to stay doing what he's doing, which is movies and that side of things, or he'll do what I said and he'll go and do some music.
No, I think he's going to keep doing what he has been doing. Right. And he might not get. There might be some projects he's not considered for, but he'll go right back and act.
Yeah, I mean, his name still carries weight.
Yes,
it's just less weight now than it did before.
Well, I won't say it's less weight. I just think, you said,
people are
like you said, it's tarnished.
Right, it's tarnished. Like I said, as far as Hollywood is concerned, actors are not people; they're commodities. Yeah. So it's all about how much money is this commodity going to make us. The difference with Will Smith is he's one of the talented ones. He's one of the ones who has the chops to back up what it is that Hollywood is putting him out to do.
I will say that, generally when someone wins a best actor Academy Award, they tend to go back. They back that up because it's a big name. They're in the headlines, mm-hmm. So they tend to have a couple of big roles after that.
Right.
I think he might take a couple of minor roles, and then he'll be right back to business as normal.
Yeah, he's talented enough to do it. Yeah. I mean, there's no question there.
I will say that there was a ton of great memes that came out of.
Oh yeah,
because I love the fact that the whole Batman slapping Robin meme is gone.
Right, because now it's Kingpin. Have you seen the Kingpin one? Apparently, there was an old Kingpin from Spider-Man and Daredevil. Yeah. There's an old comic panel where he's slapping someone for saying his wife's name, and he says, "That's my wife," or "You can't say more," or something like that. But it's That one I've seen pop up a bunch of times now. But yeah, the Batman and Robin one's gone.
No, because it's Will Smith smacking Chris Rock.
Right.
I will say that the internet has a way of remembering.
Oh yeah,
Because there was a video that resurfaced.
is it the more you know?
No. There's a video that has resurfaced of Will Smith on the Arsenio Hall show way back in the day,
Making fun of somebody with alopecia.
where he was there. The band member was it's not alopecia, but he's making fun
That's
of.
what I read. It said he said he was making fun of somebody with alopecia.
No.
Was bald as a result of
he
alopecia.
was no. I think it was never really said if he had alopecia or not. It was just
when
that,
I said it.
no, because I watched the clip and everything of it before. It's just a bald member of the Arsenio Hall's band, and Will Smith was making a joke about him being bald. So I will say the internet has a way of remembering. Obviously, those two, it's not the same, but
There's remember those NBC's The More You Know?
yes.
He did one about using your brain instead of your fists
Oh, that's hilarious.
back in the Fresh Prince days,
The more you know.
And it's hilarious. I couldn't believe it when I was watching. I was like, holy shit.
That's great. That's great. But
Poor Will Smith, because how would you have known back when you were in your 20s? Because let's face it, that he was in his 20s when he did that you would be doing something that's good. It's like a public service announcement.
Yeah.
And 30 years later, that you would make a mistake that would counteract that that thing.
Look, and I'll go back to and say this. Will Smith was well within his right to be pissed off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
think so.
100%.
His wife was hurt.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
100% was well within his right to be pissed. But like I tell my kids, if someone says something to you, it never gives you the right to put your hands on someone else.
Right. Especially in such a visible, public way.
Yeah. I will say if that same scenario would have happened backstage, we probably would never heard of it.
You're right. And like I said, I think any one of us would have been okay with him just shouting at Chris Rock.
Yeah.
What he did shout at him without the slap.
Yeah.
Most everybody, I think, would have been like, okay. You would have had the people who were like, oh, it's just a joke. And you would have had other people going, he was defending his wife.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's very binary.
That would have been the end of it.
And that would have been the end of it. Sure, it would have been talked about, but it wouldn't be the situation.
Well, you say it's very
is.
binary. We live in a non-binary world, Ian.
That's a binary. That situation would have been very binary.
I was making a joke.
I know. But that situation would have been
Yes.
very binary.
Yes.
And very easy to just, okay, one side or the other, great, no big deal.
Yeah.
By today, a week later, no one would even be talking about it. So it would show up in like Oscar clips 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So
I will
it
say.
still will, but it's just for
yeah,
different
well.
reasons.
I also didn't like Jaden Smith's. Did you see his
I
comment?
saw it. That's
remember
how we do it.
Yeah. Which is
How you do what?
would attack people,
Right.
But
Especially you. You haven't done anything your entire life. You've been in like 3 movies, which is fine. You work.
He's got a music career.
Is he doing anything that he would be doing if he wasn't Will Smith's son?
I don't know. Willow has a really big music career.
But she's doing it separate from her family.
Yeah.
Jaden hasn't done anything without his father behind
and now
him.
that I think about it, like, has Willow come out and said anything about it?
She did, but I didn't read it. It
No.
just said Willow comments on, or I just didn't read it because I didn't want to. I was afraid.
I will.
Because again, like I said, I see her doing a lot of stuff, but outside of the family, she's doing her thing. Jaden has always done things with his father, in his father's shadow. His father's always been around everything he's done, which is fine. But I have more respect for Willow because of it seems to me like she's a bit more independent.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see how it all kind of shakes out from here. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward.
Right.
Because, like I said, I think Will Smith will eventually kind of repair his career.
Oh,
but
I'm sure he will.
It's going to take a listen.
I would say if Mel Gibson can, Will Smith can.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would say Mel Gibson was worse than what Will Smith did.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah.
In terms of, level of showing your true self.
Yeah.
Will Smith showed himself to be a man of poor judgment in a moment.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson showed himself to be a fucking racist and an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
So, and a misogynist too. So That's a little worse. Will Smith's situation
Well,
was
I don't know about the misogynist thing, but
what, being worse, or just him being a
well,
misogynist?
there's nothing wrong with being a misogynist.
Sugar tits?
Like, who hasn't said that before?
Me. I've never said that unless I've quoted Mel Gibson. And I happen to be a man who loves tits. I've never said that.
Really?
Yeah, I've never said sugar tits.
No?
Not ironically.
I mean, I will say that I have, but it's always been in like a joking kind of way.
Until Mel Gibson said it, that combination of words had never even entered my mind.
I've always fought for women's rights and things like that, but sometimes I can be a little chauvinistic.
I would say sexist. I can be a little sexist.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe also. Yeah, I guess I can agree with that.
Yeah. But
I
I've
can
never
be a
been
little sexist.
misogynistic.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And chauvinistic either, because I don't have that much like pride in myself to be chauvinistic. But
I do.
You do. I don't. But I've been sexist before for sure, but not misogynistic.
Yeah. I guess I tend to agree with you. Chauvinistic is like a different kind of.
Yeah, chauvinism is like I'm better than you because of a man. Misogyny is women are just garbage.
Yeah.
And sexist is just sometimes I make some jokes that are a little.
Sometimes, sometimes I make some jokes that are a little questionable.
Right. I would say that because I am a man, I have over sexualized women. I guess that's a little bit more, but it never at the expense of respect.
Yes. Yeah.
But I have sexualized women.
So I was at work talking about this. I think it was Monday.
Okay.
So it was like the day after everything happened. Mm-hmm. And one of our coworkers made the comment, well, he made a joke about her being bald, so he deserved it. And I said, so my exact response was, wait, hold on. So like every time someone makes a joke about me being bald, I get to smack them? Right. Because I'm not shitting you. At least once a week, someone makes a joke about me being bald.
Right.
I mean, I don't fucking give a shit. But it doesn't give me the right
nothing's going to change it.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, I have a medical condition that makes me
It's called genetics.
Yeah, it's called male pattern baldness.
Yes. Is that a thing?
Yes.
I thought it was just like genetically predisposed to baldness.
It's male pattern baldness is what it is. But and I will say that like most cases of alopecia, you have like small like dime to maybe quarter size bald spots, right? And
which as a woman, I can understand the desire to shave your head because of that.
I will say that there's many hairstyles that can cover it. First off,
true,
and only in rare cases does alopecia make you go completely bald.
Right.
I will also say that it is also something that is treatable. And if you are a multimillionaire, there are also surgical options that can make you not be bald.
Right.
So, I mean, if she did have that big of an issue with it, I mean, there are some things she could do, and I'm not saying that she hasn't tried options and they didn't work. I don't know that.
Right.
I'm just saying that if you're looking at it saying, you can be mad because she's bald. That's not necessarily such a black and white kind of issue.
I think she actually looks kind of sexy bald.
I thought she did look great with her head shaved
I don't think she looks bad at all.
Yeah.
And him making a joke about it, that's why it's like G.I. Jane, Demi Moore kind of look hot bald too.
I mean, it's and that's why
this is what I mean about sexualizing women.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I thought
sexist pig.
But to be fair, I thought she looked hot.
Yeah.
I think she looks hot.
I thought she looked really good.
So I don't know.
Maybe she'll get another entanglement out of this,
right? Have you seen the meme of her where it says, "I'm not impressed. Tupac would have shot him."
Yes. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't. I'm assuming they dated.
Yeah, there was like a whole. She's had multiple relationships.
Well, of course.
But the whole Tupac, her and Tupac was, I think, before she started dating Will Smith.
Well, of course, yeah. So, I figured it was.
But no, the one like whole entanglement thing was with I think it was one of Jaden's friends.
Right. I remember it was a much younger man.
Yeah. So you have no problem with somebody banging your wife, but
but someone mentions her bald head. Oh my God.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Yeah, she needs to keep those dicks out of her mouth.
Keep your wife's mouth out of other men's mouths.
Or off other men's dicks. Yeah. I've seen a lot of pictures with it's her with superimposed hot dogs in her mouth and stuff.
Yeah, it's
to me that's going too far.
That is going too far.
Because to be honest with you, her reaction was fine. She rolled her eyes. She did not like the joke, which is fair. I completely understand.
I will say that the camera cuts away, so we do not know her reaction towards Will before he ran up on stage.
Right. Because when she rolls her eyes, she kind of starts looking in his direction.
Yes.
So she may have caught him still laughing and maybe got mad. And he saw her mad, and that's when he reacted. Which really just goes to the whole bad judgment thing. Yeah. He reacted rather than thinking about what his situation
I was a little surprised that he received a standing ovation at the end of when he won. I was a little surprised.
I think it all came from just this uncomfortableness. If I don't clap, am I supporting what he did? Or whatever. It's like.
And I was also surprised.
It's Hollywood. It's all fucking fake.
Yeah,
their reactions.
It is. What it is, it's millionaires congratulating other millionaires to make more money.
Right.
Is what the Academy Awards and really any award show is.
I mean, if you're actors and actresses, you're still just, commodities to Hollywood.
Yeah. But the Academy Awards are actors and actresses and directors giving each other awards,
right? Exactly.
They're actually giving each other awards.
It's
a big 3 hour long self congratulation circle jerk. Is what it is.
I like what Ricky Gervais said about when he was hosting one of his shows, because he's gotten in a lot of hot water because of things he said. But he says, "Look, you all show up here in your tuxes, in your limos. You're all rich. This isn't about you. When I make these jokes are not about you.
Yeah.
These jokes are for the audience.
Yeah.
The audience needs to be we need to let them know that you're still fucking human.
Yeah.
And we can still, take a shot at you.
Yeah.
In a joking way. And to be fair, Ricky Gervais has been pretty brutal in doing that.
Yeah.
And I think he's hilarious too. I cracked up at half of those jokes. Yeah. Half of them. Some of them was like, eh.
And speaking of taking shots at people, I mean, maybe there are some people that are going to take shots at Jada, but that's going to be some of Jaden's friends.
Different kind of shots.
Different kind of shot. But I don't know. That's kind of all I had on it. I just thought it was
real
obviously
quick,
something
to be
very
fair,
topical.
If I was one of Jaden's friends, I'd want to hit that too. She's a very
hot.
beautiful woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know.
But maybe Will would probably want to smack you though. So I will say that if
he doesn't smack people for having sex with them.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I will say if it wasn't Chris Rock and it was The Rock up there making that joke, he probably doesn't run up on the stage and smack him.
Yeah,
I will say that.
honestly, there's probably a huge handful of people he wouldn't have slid. If Denzel Washington had
there were other jokes made. Amy Schumer was making jokes earlier that night about the whole entanglement thing.
Yeah.
So there were multiple jokes told about Jada and Will earlier in the night. It was just when Chris Rock got up there. Right. And that's why people were like, oh, well, this kind of goes back to the whole
stage thing.
Well, the whole, was it 2016 or 2017 where they had where there were no black actors or actresses up for any awards. So a bunch of people boycotted the award show that year. Chris Rock was, I don't remember if he was hosting it or presenting. I made a joke about Jada boycotting the Academy Awards is like him boycotting Rihanna's panties. Neither one of them were invited.
Oh.
So he made this. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, it all stems from that joke," which I think is kind of bullshit because like only women think like that. Guys don't think about a joke that was told fucking 7 years ago.
No,
women are the ones that always dig up old shit. That's why women make really good paleontologists.
And to be fair, I would have said, men can generally fight it out physically or whatever, and be done with it, which kind of is what happened, but it was the venue in which it happened. Yeah. And you don't do open hand slapping. This isn't a slap fight, people. If you want to handle it like men, handle it like fucking men. Punch him.
Yeah, chauvinistic bastard. All right, any questions or comments, you can email us at Ian. What's our email address?
lifeingeneralpod@gmail.com.
That it is. We're on Facebook also, and that's about all I got. Until next time,
Talk to y'all later.
peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you some cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, them niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bruh. We taking the dub, hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit, watch out, you the god, Billy. Oh shit, right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement to your eye, niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas who down for that party, who down for some bitches who showing their bodies. Swear to God, nigga, this Molly got me up and rolling. These bodies of water, bring that shit in bottles. We mosh at the party, they hate when we style it. Wildin' out of the party.
Know they see the